This weekend at the box office has been challenging in many, many ways. Of course, you had Zendaya's new film, Challengers, pop into the box office this last weekend, and it opened up to preview numbers that are, well, disappointing for most other films. But there really hasn't been a lot to crow about in theaters lately. Hollywood has let down the global populace with a lack of quality material. In fact, the Challengers film comes to us from MGM Amazon, which is, well, barely a studio, so to speak. But let's jump on this story real quick. First, just quick mention that I do have the beachpunk.us website. Beachpunk.us is a merchandise website. It's got a bunch of great designs. We're constantly updating them each and every day, it seems. So do check that out. We've got water bottles and shirts and sweatshirts and you name it, hoodies, knit caps, ball caps, tote bags, purses, you name it. Ladies, there are even shoes on there if you're looking for some cute shoes. But let's take a look really quickly at what we've seen in the box office this weekend. $1.9 million preview on Thursday. Not a huge number. It didn't improve a whole lot when you add Thursday and Friday together. It gives you 6.2 million for an opening day because that's how it works. Friday is added to the preview, and that gives you 6.2 million, which means, about 2 million of this was really made on Thursday. So really only made, 4 million and change, on Friday, the first movie going day. The number kept going up, and, it ended up finally making its way to the number one spot, which, again, there wasn't a lot out there to challenge it, and we'll get to that in a moment, but it ranks number one in a slow April weekend. And that's why. It's number one because there's no real competition for it. Even the older films are a little long in the tooth. And we'll just look at the weekend chart to show what I'm talking about. So, Challengers is $15 million. Decent chunk of change, but that's kind of a soft open on a film that was budgeted at $55 million, but we'll get to that in just a moment. The Unsung Hero, a movie I had no clue what it was, which is rare, earned about half that at $7.7 million. And Godzilla X Kong hung around for third place at $7.2 million. Now, this film, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, has been in theaters for 5 weekends now. And it's still pulling in a ton of change here. And it had a reduction in theater count. So we move into what the actual weekend looked like overall for everything. So Challengers and Unsung were new. Godzilla X Kong is 5 weeks old. Civil War is on its third weekend, and it made $7 million. I mean, that's interesting. Abigail's in its second weekend at $5.2 million, and Ungentlemanly Warfare at $3.8 million. So you're looking at quite the soft start, and the average per theater for the weekend was $4,300 for Challengers. Now, we'll keep going down here. If you look back a weekend ago, Civil War earned 11.2 in its second weekend. So it fell off. I mean, this film, similar budget, A24's Civil War is around $60 million, and it earned a good chunk of change in its opening weekend. 56% fall. Like I said, if you look at the progression of these films and you look at what the anticipated box office will be for Challengers, well, it's going to fall off over 50%. So next weekend, it'll probably earn about $7 million and then fall precipitously from there. The biggest problem that Challengers has is its budget. And also the markets that it's in. Domestically, that $15 million comes in handy, but internationally, it only earned $10 million. And from what I'm to understand, there aren't a whole lot of other markets to open up into internationally in the future. It opened in quite a few. And you're looking at a worldwide box office of $25 million. Now, like I said, you had a $55 million budget here. So you need to make twice that just to get your production budget back. It has to be around 110 million before you recoup the cost of even making this film, because you have to split 50% of the box office receipts with the exhibitors. So this is the most number of theaters that this film will be in, 3,477. That number's likely only to go down here domestically. And it's nowhere close to earning its money back. I think this film ultimately will lose money. I think it'll lose a considerable amount of money, because we haven't even talked about what their ads and print cost, their promotions budget, which again, I would say was somewhere around 30 to maybe 55 million. Maybe they did the traditional thing and spent at least the production budget on it. And if so, this film's going to be very much underwater. Not a huge open for this film. So that brings the question to us right now. Is Zendaya a movie star? Can she open a film? You know, Paul Chatto asks that question almost every weekend now. Is this person big enough to open a film? You know, I imagine that'll be a point of conversation on Monday's show on Midnight's Edge in the morning. It probably will be a point of conversation on my last night's show, the Sunday late night culture show. But I think the Zendaya experiment is over. I think she is going to be a second star, a notable cast member in things, and maybe relegated to television projects like Euphoria. But she's not an opener, and you would think we'd have bigger box office because of what, Dune 2 did if she was able to open a film. But we didn't. So the star power there, obviously, is Timothée Chalamet, whatever his name is. And it's not her. And finally, let's just take a look at what Exhibitor Relations posted. This is how it broke down. Domestic debut, 15 million. Budget, 55 million. Female skewing at 58% of the audience. I think it was probably higher than that, closer to 60. The age demographics were 18 to 24 was only 41% of the audience, and the 25 and over crowd made up everything else. The other breakdown is 43% Caucasian, 27% Hispanic, 17% African American, and 9% Asian. This is fairly typical of a breakdown for these films, and a cinema score of B+, which is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. Anything above a C is, keeping people awake throughout. But I don't know. This has to be disappointing to MGM, Amazon. I'm sure they were hoping for more. And I don't know. What else does that say, folks? What do you think? Do you think Zendaya will ever open a film? Do you think that this film has a chance to make its money back? I think negatively on both of those, but I'm asking you. I'm also asking you to hit the like button down below. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. You won't regret it. There's a ton of content every week and a bunch of live streams that I'm on. You don't want to miss any of that. Turn those notifications on, that little bell icon up there, because that'll help you not miss things too. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya.